Well, what's going on, family? Happy holidays to all. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. All that good stuff. Yours truly, Joe Dupree in the building. 100 BLK, the Black Station, with another Wellness Wednesday, along with Miss Shauna Sias and my good friend, brother Edward J. Brown. But we always telling you that your mental health matters and a healthy you
is a better you.
So, family, we in the building. This will be the last show of 2023. Next time you will be 2024.
Put a little difficulty there.
Woo!
Say that.
Well, look, it's a rough Wednesday already.
Right.
Hey.
So look, we've talked about a smorgasbord of stuff, and we do welcome our good friend Miss Shauna Sias, now a part of Wellness Wednesday, bringing in her unique flavor to the show and letting folks knowing that bullying ain't good. It ain't good, especially with the cheering, but it ain't good at no level. Because some of you adults out there, y'all big bullies too. Y'all throw y'all rocks and hide y'all hands.
I'll be one of those kind of Wednesdays, I see.
And when somebody throw their rock back, they go cry and whining.
So I don't know what we're talking about tonight, but I will say this: there's a lot of great things going on, and it is the season. One thing I love about the season, I saw Sister Sias. Man, I got a lot of S's and what's going on tonight? I saw Sister Sias at Evangeline Downs as once again another celebration for the elderly, just showing them love out there in Opelousas and St. Landry Parish. A lot of that has been done also here in Lafayette Parish. So big ups to everybody out there doing toy drives, giving away food. This is the time where you see the hearts of folks and you see who's out there serving and have a servant's heart. And that's a beautiful thing to have. So what I'm going to tell you is tell a friend to tell a friend, share this with a friend. Starting in the new year, we're going to be on a lot of different platforms. We're going to be on Spotify. You can listen. You won't be able to see the podcast, but you'll be able to hear it on Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. And starting next year, we will be also broadcasting not only on Facebook and YouTube, but we'll be on Instagram also. So you're going to catch us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Doing big things.
Hey, look. Since we're gonna be on on Spotify, maybe we can give some listening prizes to see if they can distinguish which one is the male voice or not.
It is not that bad, man. Come on, man. It's not that bad.
Hold on. Let me find the proper one here. Hold on. Here we go.
It's gonna be one of those Wednesdays, I see.
What
it's gonna be one of those Wednesdays.
What's in heaven and a ham sandwich?
I'm just saying. I've been called a lot of things, and sir is one of them.
What up, man? Listen, I've been called man, but I know my voice don't sound like no.
Hey, that means somebody need to clear their ears out quickly. I mean, they need to go see an audible specialist or something. But nevertheless, it is Wellness Wednesday, and family, listen. Do me a favor. I'm getting ready to turn it over to Edward and Shauna, but do me a favor. Check in on your people. Check in on somebody, because just because folks ain't speaking to you doesn't mean you shouldn't reach out, check on your neighbor. Maybe you have a neighbor that lives by themselves. Just make sure they're all right. Because like I said, that holidays are not happy for everyone. And we're here to really put a light on that and share this with a friend. Tell a friend to tell a friend. As I always do about this time, I'm about to disappear. But Shauna and my good friend Edward J. Brown about to take over. Welcome to Wellness Wednesday. It's on y'all. Get it.
Let's make it happen, man. I always concede to the lady of the crew to always bless us with some of her thoughts. So I do so at this time.
Well, thank you. Such chivalry is not dead at all. Right. I want to welcome everybody again. Thanks for joining us. I want to thank the gentleman for having me. Holiday time is not a happy time for everybody. Speaking personally, I can tell you that sometimes if someone doesn't reach out to you, it's because maybe they're unable to even reach out to themselves. If you know that someone is more outspoken and is usually the one to reach out and suddenly that stops, get out of your feelings and stop making it about you. Call them. I promise you there is an underlying reason. There's a lot of people that have experienced loss prior to this holiday season, even as recently as today. So, have a little empathy, a little compassion, give a little grace to some people this holiday season. And maybe if you start practicing it now, it'll carry over to the next year and you won't have to keep getting that same sermon every holiday season. It'll then become a habit. So that's all I have for my suggestion in this holiday season.
I got to clap on that one. But so here's my 2 bits. We talk about Wellness Wednesday and a healthy you is a better you. This year, as I thought about this podcast coming up tonight, I thought about what have I dealt with the most as a therapist of 33 years. What have I dealt with the most? And this is what and it definitely applies during the holiday season. I don't want anyone to go through this holiday and not receive the gifts that they want, or not receive the greetings, the fellowship that they want, and start to look at themselves as someone that has a problem or a deficit. And what I mean by that in simple layman terms is stop expecting you in other people. Stop looking for what you're giving from other people, because if you don't get it and you find yourself feeling a certain way, be it a gift, an invitation, because that's what's floating around right now. There's all the who's who having parties and certain people not getting their invitation. Mm-hmm. And they carry all of that over into the new year. Well, I didn't get invited to the Christmas party. You know what people say? My Christmas card must have got lost in the mail. Oh. We have to stop looking for us in other people. Now, I've had a discussion about that. So what's wrong with that? Here's the issue. It comes back to intent. Like, for example, if I tell my brother Joe, I say, yo, man, I love you, brother. I am not telling him I love him so he can tell me he loved me back. I'm telling him so now he knows. He's informed. If I give a gift, I give it because I want to give it, not because I'm expecting something in return. Because if that doesn't happen, that's like giving somebody the control to your thermostat. We have to stop looking for what we do in other people, because then that means your intent is not genuine. Your intent is for recognition. And when you don't get that recognition, then all of a sudden you feel some type of way, as they say, about what you did. We got to stop that, because we have too many people right here, right now, during the holiday season with expectations that they will receive what they give. And if we've been alive more than 1 minute on this earth, we know that doesn't always happen. We have to stop, because it's allowing other people to control our feelings. So when we say that was what I wanted to put out there tonight. What happens when you don't get back what you put out?
Woo, that's deep. That's deep.
What happens? I mean, what do you allow that variable to do in your life? Be it in your relationship? Because guess what? I found out real early my children wasn't bringing the same presents under that tree that I was putting under that tree.
Hey, and let's talk about that for a minute. I know a lot of this is at the level of friends and individuals we know, but what if you have a family member or family members that do not talk, get along, or even speak to one another during this holiday season? And that's the elephant in the room folk don't want to talk about. What happens? You got a son, a daughter, a mother, a father, a brother, a sister, someone close that's not speaking to you during this holiday season. Sister Sias, I see you with your hand up. Go ahead, my sister.
What I have to say to that is this, because in this good old holiday season, there will be some folk that will not talk to me. And yes, they may be related. Okay. And I will treat that just as I would treat anyone else who does not want to speak to me. That is their loss, not mine. Sometimes if you're going to not address it, then don't address it. If you haven't been speaking all year, don't wait until Christmas Day or Christmas Eve to want to, try to figure out all of the family's problem, because it's not the whole family with the problem. You and whomever you might have the problem with need to go and reconcile that right there. So don't utilize the holiday season or the day because you're feeling some type of way to go and try to cast some negative spirit on someone else. Don't do that. That's called sabotage. And actually, it's more self-sabotage because you're taking away from your own ability to enjoy your own holiday season.
Yeah. Timing is everything. And if we are at a joyous occasion and there is individuals with conflict, is it the correct time to do it now? And the reason a lot of that occurs is because people like to be seen. They like to be seen. If you and I had a problem, that's me though. Now I'm speaking solely of this person in this little square box right here. I am not going to use Christmas dinner to address that issue that you and I have. If I didn't do it prior to the family gathering, why would I do it now if I didn't expect for it to be a major issue? You understand what I'm saying? If you and I have problem, we had problem long before Christmas dinner. So we could have easily handled it on the phone. We could have handled it at the park bench, anywhere. Why now? Because sometimes we like to be seen. And then what also transpires, see, y'all gonna really make me get into these family dynamics now.
Bring it. What
else transpires is you start to find out those family support systems, secret cliques, and little you see, you find the little niches. You see, I brought it up at the Christmas dinner because Uncle June was here, and I remember Uncle June. I talked to you about it. You figure that's a support system, and Auntie Glad.
Maybe be an enabler. See, then you come to find out who been talking about you when you wasn't around. Hold up. Why you look over your shoulder? What that for? Hold up. Stop.
My daughter in here wanting to do the dishes now.
Okay. So
we gonna be the one that ain't gonna be talked to on Christmas.
But here's another thing. We need to really, and I say we, I mean we as people of color, we've got to work on really more unity in 2024. And when I say that is, I respect the gifts of the other two individuals that are here on this podcast. There are things that they can do, can say, can accomplish that I could never achieve, and vice versa. We've got to stop. If we can't be HNIC, if we can't be the captain of the ship, if we can't control the narrative, we've got to stop trying to sink the whole ship and everybody on it because we wasn't the person who drove and directed the ship. In 2024, family, we got to have much more unity in our community. Now, let me bookmark that because I'm probably going to have a few folks jump on and they may replay this. They're going to get very mad at what I'm about to say. When a person of color tells another person of color, we need to stop killing one another, your response shouldn't be, yeah, and the cops need to stop killing us too. No, you need to address the thing at hand. We need to stop killing one another. If we respect one another, then we can demand respect from everybody else. But if we're killing one another at astronomical numbers and rates, every time we come out and say, well, those other folks that don't look like us need to get their foot off our neck and they need to stop this. Well, here's what they say behind closed doors when we ain't there. But y'all killing each other. And y'all ain't marching when y'all kill each other. Y'all ain't protesting when one of y'all kill a little baby, because there have been babies got caught up in some of this gunfire and some of these drive-bys. You know, many a times you very seldomly see people coming on TV talking about little so-and-so 2 years old got shot. They act like little so-and-so must have been outside with a gun trying to see walk and act like they were instigating the situation. Family, we got to start sweeping around our own front doors before we start sweeping around other people's front doors in 2024. We got to stop waiting for folks to come save us, and we got to start implementing stuff to save ourselves. Now, I didn't say what I had to say, Brother Brown.
Hey, listen, it goes back to what we just talked about with the dynamics. So we went from family dynamics to community dynamics. At the end of the day, we have to hold ourselves accountable for the things that go on in our own house. It's kind of like saying, well, they got to stop turning off my lights. Well, brother, they turn off your lights because you didn't pay your light bill. So I'm sitting here saying and agreeing with you, but we have to also look at the issue of when you say, well, they shot my son. Who is they? The police. Okay, what was your well, he was standing on the corner. Okay, what's your son doing standing on the corner at 3 o'clock in the morning? Now, let me, before, like you just said, someone may come for you. Buddy. Let me say before they come for you. I'm not saying because the brother was standing on the corner at 3 or 4 in the morning, he deserved to get shot. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, at some point, you have to look and say, why is a 13-year-old outside at 3 o'clock in the morning standing on the corner? I don't understand that. So
hold on, and let's just bookmark it. Once again, this elephant in the room, this last show of the year, I'm coming with that fire tonight. So
we went to a whole nother road. Okay.
Hold up. Little boo-boo, little whatever his name is or whatever her name is, you know they out there robbing, stealing, selling drugs, cussing folks out, sticking folks up. Okay, so let's just call it. I can understand if it was a good kid, maybe just walking from their house to grandma's house.
See, now people gonna say, what's a good kid and what's a bad kid now?
Well, come on now.
Let me help Brother Joe out with this one here. Because in my head, I already know what them comments gonna be before you can even clarify. So I'm gonna say it like this, and I think it was summarized by my mom. She would tell me all the time, just because you can don't mean you should. Should a 13-year-old be able to stand outside on the corner at 2 a.m.? Absolutely. They should be able to do that, and nothing happened to them. But just because they should be able to doesn't mean they should do it. We know that, like them old folks used to say, only certain things is happening in open
after 12 o'clock.
A certain time. Yeah. And I'm going to keep it clean because I'm trying to get right. But only certain things
are open at that time.
And businesses.
Come on.
Are open at that time of night, which means with certain occupations comes risk.
Come on.
So if you have a child whom you don't mind being outside at 2 a.m., just like you take that risk when you take a job,
come on.
You got to take that risk when you allow that to happen.
Come on.
And stop speaking in third and fourth person. It wasn't they.
Right.
It was John. It was Robert. It was Tommy. It was Susan's son. It was Janice's daughter. You need to call it what it is. Why? Because if you don't identify a sickness, see, this is the nurse coming out. If you don't call a diagnosis, you are not treating nothing. You're not going to go to the doctor and say, oh, I don't feel right. And you're going to walk out of there with 4 or 5 prescriptions. Absolutely not. For every don't feel right that you give him, he's going to have a DX, a diagnosis. You understand? And for every diagnosis, there's a matching number for the insurance people to pay for it. Right? Mm-hmm. So what that means is you know the risks. You know what can happen. So if that's what you choose to do, that's fine. That's fine. But what we can't keep doing is allowing things to happen, to go on until the bottom fall out, until the paper bag get wet enough and the canned good is falling out. And then when the bottom fall out, now we just want to address what the problem is, but we don't want to address how we got to the problem, which is why we ignore things and don't go seek the help we need. We know we was having problems with that boy when we told him to sit down in 2nd grade and he told the teacher, F you.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Come on.
He was having a bad day.
Dr. Brown, Dr. Brown.
All this time I was sitting here, I was trying to figure out where I heard this statement, and I believe it was T.D. Jakes that said it. And I said, this is never a truer statement made. He said, untreated trauma is transferred.
Yes, sir.
And I think it was him. I'm not sure. I have to go back and try to search my mind and remember where I heard that. But I remember when I did hear it, I said, it was that profound. So when we're looking at not just like we started this conversation 23 minutes ago, when I said we have to stop looking for ourselves and other people, we have to stop allowing things that we know is trauma, untreated trauma, and then we transfer it to the children, or we transfer it to our community, or to our workplace, or to our relationship. This untreated trauma that we walk around with, there is no reason that a parent should feel uncomfortable saying to their 13, if you go out that door, they're going to be picking you up off the front lawn because I'm going to knock you out. But we have parents that have trauma of their own that they're allowed to be transferred within the family dynamics. So now we're looking at the product of that trauma.
And then you get, and I'm speaking from a female point of view. Again, I will never speak from a male point of view on here. But from a female point of view, when we have dealt with untreated trauma and we have them sons, sometimes we treat our sons like our man, our boyfriend, and our husbands, or like they're supposed to be the leader and the provider of the house. And that is untreated trauma. If we have daughters and we have not treated our trauma, then we teach them that they're supposed to do it all. No, we we might be able, but that is not how that is supposed to be. That is not how it's supposed to be. You are not supposed to be the one taking care of the household. You're not supposed to be the one bearing the weight of the burden. Although no truer statement has ever been told than the burden will always fall on the mother.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up. Let's dive a little deeper into this, and I want folks to really understand our heart with this. I want to see everyone that looks like me healthy and whole and well. And guess what? Sometimes we have to look ourselves in the good mirror and say, this is what's wrong with me, and this is what I have contributed. Let me get this right. This is what I have contributed to the downfall of not only myself, my house, my street, my community, my city, my state, my nation. sometimes you got to look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm a part of the equation that's got us all messed up. And what do I do to get myself right that we can all heal? There's something that I posted that I got from a friend of mine that was so profound, because a friend of mine prayed for me. And when he prayed for me, he did something that I've never had anybody in all the years of folk praying for me ever say. He said, if I'm up for the blessing, and God, you about to bless me, but my brother here needs that blessing more than I do, move me back to wherever you need to put me in line and move him up front, that he gets his. Because guess what? I know he hurting, and I know what he needs it now. Even if you have me in the place where I'm supposed to get mine, just put mine on layaway and go ahead and take care. See, and a lot of folks won't do this, and this is a season to talk about this. A lot of folks talk about unselfishly giving, but they don't do it. Folk, you just don't know. I tell everybody, you might see all three of us on here and we might look like everything well, fine, and dandy. You don't know what we might be going through. Ooh. That's why we always say you might be around other folks that they look like everything's fine, dandy, everything's going well, but you don't know what they're going through. Because if you look at the statistics, and Edward and I, Shauna, before you came on here, you talk about this all the time. You had people who were multimillionaires committing suicide.
Correct.
You had people who were company owners committing suicide. You had, I can just name a few names. You would say to yourself, probably from the financial state they were in, how they were living, the accomplishment they made, why would this person take their life? You would ask yourself, why would the guy who used to DJ for Ellen, man, this brother had a beautiful wife, beautiful children. Why would he take his life? Why would Robin Williams, more from Ort,
brilliant comedian, yeah.
Hey, why would he take his life? Why would the brother from and I just finished re-looking at The Wire. Why would the brother who played the brother with the scar on his face, I forgot his name. Why would he take his life? And the list and the names go on and on and on, because there are some things. And listen, I know we're all trying to chase for a bag, but some things the bag won't get you. And a peace of mind has to be one of them, because these folks had major money and seemed to be that still the money wasn't enough to keep them from not putting themselves in a position where they took their own lives. So family, start asking yourself, how can I live a good, wholesome, holistic life and be happy and at peace with myself and everything around me, and understand all that may not be connected to material things. Sometimes you just got to look your good self in the mirror and say, what do I got to do to be good with me?
See, people see the place, but they don't see the journey.
Yes, sir.
You see, they'll see where we are, where we ended up, but have no clue of the journey. Brother Dupree and I had a opportunity to hang out at the bowl last year.
The HBCU bowl.
The HBCU bowl. We riding around in my truck, and he was talking about, he said, man, this is a nice truck. And I was like, yeah, I appreciate it. And we both almost fell out when I started telling them all of the cars that I had prior to that truck. The Camaro, where you rode in the front seat, on the passenger side, it was like the Flintstones. You could look down because the floor had rotted out. So
right. They don't know what we went through to get to where we were at.
Yeah, you had to put your feet on the dashboard. So people never saw the journey that got me to where we are today. They only see where we are. And one of the things that we have to start taking into account is how heavy a person's journey is. The weight of your journey sometimes becomes overbearing. It becomes too much to bear. And I believe when we start talking about finding those coping skills that we need to make it through, we need to find the skills to carry the heaviness that the world dumps on us. Because if we look at a newborn baby, and the scripture always talks about, we shouldn't weep when we die. We should weep when child is born, we look at the heaviness of this world and the skills and the ability. I made a comment about my grandfather and some of the older guys now that's passing on, and they don't make them like they used to. That goes for women, that goes for men, and that goes for children. They don't make them the way they used to. You know, you and I, it was punishment for us to stay inside.
Come on. Come on.
Now,
yes, sir.
Now it's punishment
to go outside.
if we tell them to go outside. It's punishment to go outside. And if we had to stay inside, we cried.
Absolutely.
Well, please, can I go? It's hot out there. We're gonna be under the tree. It's okay. Now you tell them go outside and do what? What we going out there and do? We're gonna play. What we gonna play with? We made up toys. We pick up a stick. It's a toy.
Right.
I was the master mud pie maker.
Come on. Come on.
Make up a toy. Make up a game.
Come on. Come on.
You know,
so I'm glad you let's keep on this, because there's something else I want to really say. And it's beautiful that you said that. You know, family, as we go into this holiday season, there's two things I really have heavy on my heart. First of all, if there's someone out there that you need to get it right with, stop playing with the most precious commodity. There's two commodities we play with way too much and act like we act like money and silver and gold and cars and houses are much more valuable than these two things, but they're not. That's time and life. Time and life are very valuable. So if you got somebody you need to go and maybe make things right with, and your heart's been pulling on you to make it right, mind you, try to make it right. It doesn't mean that it's going to be made right, but go ahead and make your attempt to make it right. Call that person, text that person, say, hey, you know, I'm just checking on you. I just wanted to make sure you're okay. And if the conversation starts, it starts. If it don't, it don't. That person might come back and say, look, I don't want to have nothing to do with you ever again. But you did what you needed to do to try to lift that burden off your mind and your heart and say, I tried to make it right. Because guess what? Some people just ain't going to like you because they just don't like you. Sometimes your chemistry just don't mix with other folk. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, no matter how you apologize, no matter how you try to make it right, no matter how many concessions you make, because sometimes you ain't did nothing. Sometimes you literally try to concede to someone who has done you wrong just because you want the peace in your life. Family, we've got to wake up in this holiday season and for real stop giving all this bottom lip service, all this talk, and really start lining up. And it's time for some action. I heard today at a meeting where a guy said, you know, every once in a while I play Elvis Presley in my office in the Sonar system where everybody gets the song. You know, it's a little less talk and a little more action.
Yeah. Well, you know, I tell people all the time, I say, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and I just want you to be honest with yourself. You don't even have to answer out loud. I have a presentation that I do that's simply titled, are you a diamond? Or are you a cubic zirconia? So here's the thing about a diamond. There's very few things in the world that can affect the diamond. And only one of those things is a diamond cutter. And you can't just go in the store and buy those. The government passed those out because they're licensed. They have numbers because they can literally cut one of the hardest substances on earth, which is a diamond. So if you are a true diamond, all of this stuff that you looking at, that you letting worry you and weigh you down, you're telling me that's a diamond cutter. Or are you a cubic zirconia, where you can take a hammer and bash that and it's going to make it dust right there? We have to ask ourselves, are we cubics or are we diamonds? Here's the other thing I love about a diamond. If you take a ring and you put a $5,000 diamond in the middle of it, and you surround it with $1 cubic zirconias, does it change the value of that diamond?
No,
absolutely not.
It's still, no matter what it's surrounded with, it's still worth $5,000.
That's correct.
Stop looking around you saying, well, you know, I must be $1 because I'm surrounded by. You just got to find some other diamonds. Too often we have to start looking at what we allow to impact us, what we allow inside. Nothing around you should change your value, because those things don't set. Ooh, this is good. Those things don't set the value. You set your value.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because my grandfather used to say something I didn't understand until I was a grown man. He used to say all the time under his breath, "Thank God, man ain't got nothing to do with me getting into heaven." He said, because I sure wouldn't make it. I never understood what he meant by that. You know, do you know how many people would speak against you if they could? Look here, Lord, I don't really think you should let them in, because I remember one time. You see, so you got to stop letting all this stuff around you impact who and what you feel. So this person you got beef with coming to the family dinner, God bless them. Long as they don't eat the last piece of pie, I'm good. And if they do, I'm gonna go buy another one. Now, how about that?
Right. That's the part.
Two things you touched on. You said that you have to set your values. I need people to understand that setting a value is not making a laundry list of things for people to do for you or people not to do to you. That's not what that is. Okay, that does not set values. You know, example, if you want to go out and date someone, telling someone your value is not saying you got to buy me this, you have to take me there, I only wear this. That's not what that is. Values is set with boundaries.
You talking about cost. We ain't talking about cost. We talking value.
Which was my next note.
Come on now.
Value versus cost. That's why a lot of us in the younger age, they get caught up in chasing the bag because they have not been taught the value versus the cost.
Come on.
They're going to go and spend $12 on that cubic zirconium because it looks like a diamond.
Come on.
And they'll wear it a little while. I actually made a post the other day. They laughed at it. And a random thought. Please stay out of my inbox if you still put clear nail polish on your jewelry.
Come on.
Now I ain't see that since the early 80s.
Yes.
God used to really do that. Yeah.
And guys still do it. But I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to stay away from that. I'm going back to my point. My point is that if you get lost in knowing your worth versus your value, that's why you're going to continue to be looking for somebody to give you something to make you feel better.
Oh, now let's bookmark that. Because many a times we all make this mistake. I've made this mistake of late. When things don't begin to manifest the way you think they need to manifest, and you know it was God that told you to do whatever it was that you decided to do, you got to steadfastly stand and say to yourself, he didn't say it would be easy. He just said it would be worth it. And when she brought that up, what she just brought up, and I'm trying to hold back from sneezing, I want y'all to understand this. Many a times, our biggest problem is we need validation from other folks. And watch this. Stop asking for folks to validate you who have not traveled in the places that you're trying to get validation in. See, here's what I say to folks. Stop trying to go broke, trying to look rich to folks who more broke than you'll ever be.
More broke.
Right. You know, and stop looking for this validation from folks. At the end of the day, if you know what you know, and you know the guy got your back, sometimes you got to go 10 toes down and just say, you know what? I'm going to stand here until my change comes. I'm going to stand here in this thing and I'm going to keep doing what I need to do until God shows up and make it happen for me. Now, in that process, I'm going to probably keep studying and keep learning and keep observing, but don't let folk make you quit something thinking that you're about to lose something, when the truth about it is, if you never quit, you would have never lost it. Brother Brown.
Sometimes I feel overwhelmed with joy that these podcasts are recorded and people can go back and watch them, because we dropping some bangers tonight. To say it's the last show of the year of 2023, a year we will never see again. There's truly some knowledge being dropped tonight. And that's all we've ever wanted when we started this podcast, to make sure that we put something that individuals could use. So we and that's how you know when it's a show that's a lot, because the time flies. We are sitting here talking about just what we intended this podcast to do, to make you a better you, give you tools that will enhance the quality of your life just a little bit. Just a little bit. And you can maybe pass it on to somebody else. My brother says, tell a friend, tell a friend.
Yes, sir.
Now we've brought a sister on whose energy just, it falls right in line with what we're trying to do. Because we've both, for 3 years almost now, it said, it doesn't matter what you think of me. It doesn't matter what you think of Brother Joe. If you can get something from what we're saying, that's all that matters. Hate my guts. Use what we putting out here. That's all we can. Because we're not doing this for likes. Because he always say that too. Brother Dupree said, we ain't doing this for likes. We're doing
I do want to.
Yeah, jump on this, sister.
I'm sorry, brother. I wanted to make a point before I forget it. Y'all know this old stroke memory. It ain't worth a darn. But validation. If you find yourself needing or feeling like you need to be validated by somebody, and if you don't know what validation means for somebody asking, that means you need somebody to tell you you are right, that you okay, that what you doing is acceptable, all of that. If you're still in that phase, you have some esteem issues and you need to work on that, because if you need validation, you are not operating in your gift. All right. If you are truly operating in your gift, you don't have to be in the front. You don't have to be at the head. You don't have to be in the limelight. Wherever you are, it's going to shift in their way. The whole room is going to shift. But if you continue to need validation, it's because you don't feel valid yet. And no one can make you feel valid, because no one can give you your own boundary. Values are set by boundaries. But if you don't have no boundaries for yourself, that's why you don't have any value. I'm not going to put that on, because if you don't have any boundaries for yourself,
come on,
you won't know your own value.
So that's what we're talking about these gems that we're dropping tonight.
So
things like that.
Yeah, let me say this too, because this is something also. I think we said it earlier, but I just think it's noteworthy. We may have said it in another show. Family, if you my friend, my brother, my sister, if you're good with me before, then you need to be good with me going out. And I went back, and it was funny because I had talked about the Kelsey brothers on one of our prior podcasts about how they competed against each other for a Super Bowl. But when they came into the Super Bowl, they were the Kelsey brothers. And when they left out the Super Bowl, they were the Kelsey brothers. Be exact, Mama wore a jersey that had one half
on both sides. Yep.
She was like, I love them both. They still, and we've got to be that way in the midst of sometimes competition and family. We've got to start loving each other more. And when I say that is, a lot of us, and Drake got a song out there called Fake Love. A lot of y'all about that fake love. Y'all really don't care. Y'all try to look popular. Y'all want to be somewhere where everybody love you, and watch this. Sometimes you got to be like Jesus. You got to understand. You might have 12 folk with you, but when it really come down to the trial and tribulation, all 12 of them might look at you and be like, even the closest ones of them may tell you, hey, man, I don't know that dude. And understand this, after 12 that done rocked and roll with you, one of them might be the one that sell you out. Understand, the same folks that made today say, Hosanna, Hosanna, 3 days later might be the same folks that say, crucify him, crucify him. But if you know you're in your place of purpose, that's the word I want to hit y'all with. When you know you're in a place, I'm going to give you 3 P's. When you know you're in a place of purpose, and you in that place of purpose because you have been positioned to be there to provide something that is past whatever you can even perceive, because you there for a purpose that is greater than your own. Guess what, family? That's when you finally got to the place of real peace. Because guess what? That's when you can give it up and say, you know what? Everything I did was to be a blessing to someone else and not to myself.
But that's when you know that spirit or that voice that you heard, if it's truly God or not. Because if one thing I know, if the Lord tell you something, it won't be confusion. He's not the author of that. He don't participate in that. He's not going to tell you to go and ruin Christmas dinner to clear up the air with old uncle, because no, he's not going to do that. He is on time. He is in time, and everything is always in a line and on purpose, in purpose. It has to be in purpose, but on purpose at the same time. But if you are not in true alignment with that, you can take what you trying to make people believe. I'm going to say it again. You going to try to take what you want people to believe is the Lord or the word or just your selflessness. And then you're going to do something. And that's why you keep having them problems.
So Brother Brown, as we get down to the last 12 minutes of this show, first of all, we want to let y'all know one thing. It's okay not to be okay. What's not okay is to keep it to yourself to the point that you may want to do bodily harm to yourself without going to seek help. So if you see the number that's scrolling at the bottom, that is Positive Choices Counseling Service. That is the phone number. They are great when it comes down to you need somebody to talk to. You know, the reason we didn't have the show last Wednesday was because my brother was dealing with a crisis. Somebody needed to talk to him, and that's what he does. And listen, and many a times I know you think the only people that do stuff like this is the Dr. Phils, and you know, there are folks that look like you that are not comedians. That there are folks that look like you that are not actors, ball players. There are folks that look like you that are licensed clinicians whose job is to sit there and listen to your issues and help you navigate a way to wellness. And that's why we do Wellness Wednesday, because we know a healthy you is not only a better you for you, but a better you for you and everyone around you.
And to walk through this life cycle, believing you know everything, believing you can handle everything. We call that being naive. You're extremely naive. Everyone needs help at some point. But what we have a problem with in our culture and what we struggle with is we struggle with the stigma. And what we've decided to do, and what I travel, and every time people ask me what I do, the thing that I'm going to go to my grave trying to establish is normalizing mental health treatment the way we do going to the optometrist, the dentist. If I tell Brother Joe, man, I got to go get a filling, and he don't say, oh, you crazy. If I say, man, so I got to get my prescription and my glasses checked up. Oh, something wrong with you. But the minute we say, I'm not feeling myself, I think I'm going to go talk to a counselor. Say, yep, I knew that boy was crazy. No, needing help and not getting it is crazy. We have to start looking at ourselves and saying, if I'm not going to be honest with anybody else, I'm going to be honest with myself. I'm going to start by being honest with myself and making sure that I have that person, that professional. I ain't talking about your boy. There's a professional. We don't shoot from the hip. We are trained. Theories, techniques, all in regards to mental health. And please, one of the last things I wanted to say this year was please put yourself first, especially if you feel yourself getting overwhelmed. You feel yourself becoming a little bit to where you can't handle it. It's okay to pick up the phone and call somebody and say, I need to talk. The suicide hotline number I saw is up there, 988. We got 911 for the police. 988 is the suicide prevention line. It's time for us to stop thinking killing ourselves is a way to make things better. That's not an adequate coping skill. It's not. And as long as we have this platform, we're going to come on here every Wednesday and we're going to let you know there's people waving their hands like, we're here. I had a young guy come in last week with his father that had a video of him being bullied that was being passed around all different areas. And it was not just impactful for the young boy. His father was traumatized. His father was like, what do I do? How do I reached out to Sister Sias. I reached out to her. I said, look, I need your expertise. What's the name of this? What should he do? We are putting gems out here. Now we went from two great minds to three great minds, full of knowledge. Not taking advantage of it. That ain't because we ain't here. We're here, and we'll be here next year.
Come on, Sister Shauna. Come on.
Going into 2024, I want everybody to know this, that no is an answer. If no makes you feel okay, then no is the answer. Be okay with not being okay. If you feel that you're, like he said, if you're not yourself, or if you see one of your friends that isn't themselves, speak up for them. Maybe if they don't want to seem crazy by themselves, maybe y'all should go make appointments and be crazy together. That's what friends do. If the stigma is still there, be with them instead of being judgmental or to be ignorant to think that it does not need to be addressed. Untreated trauma does not go away. It manifests itself in a host of things like needing validation from others, not having boundaries, not being able to be accountable for one's actions. All of those things come from not being handled properly and not treating what was not properly dealt with in the first place. I could go all night, but going into 2024, no is an answer. Seek help when necessary and be okay with not being okay.
That's what I'm talking about. So, family, there's three things I'm gonna hit you with that as we leave 2023 and go into 2024. Uh, let's be kind to one another,
Oh,
even the more. Let us uplift one another even the more. And let us in everything trust whomever you call God. Because everybody who watched this podcast now isn't Christian, and but whomever you call the supreme being, put your full trust in the God that's in you to be more godlike to people around you, that you can have grace and mercy and understanding and be at a place where peace fills the room wherever you may go. So I'm gonna bring all my people out. Y'all. Hey, we still got 4 minutes, and we might go over because once again, we run this thing the way we want to run it. But family, we say some things that sound kind of hard and a little rigid, because let's just be honest about it. We got to stop lying to one another. We got to stop shoo-shooing with one another. That's the problem. We want to lie and shoo-shoo with one another, but there's other folks out there who don't do that. Like for example, I brought that up earlier. There are some bad police out there. There are some racist individuals out there. There are some folks out there while you shoo-shooing and you trying to ta-ta folks, there's other folks out there, they ain't gonna ta-ta or shoo-shoo with them at all. They're gonna try to take them to the upper room. And so you got to start telling some hard truths to your children, your grandchildren, to your nieces and your nephews, to your brothers and your sisters, to your moms and your dads. Because guess what? Everybody can get it lately. If you look at the spectrum of individuals who have been wrongfully handled by the government, by the police, by other individuals, they ages range from 8 to 80, dumb, crippled, and crazy.
That's correct.
Bad folks don't care who they hurt. They just trying to hurt somebody because they themselves
hurt people.
That's correct.
Hurt people. That's what we always say.
But healed people heal people.
Oh,
we pass that on. That's right. I wanna take my last few minutes to thank brother Dupree. This thing that we sat at a coffee shop and thought about has come to fruition, and I want to thank you for your commitment to making sure that if I have a quirky idea, you don't look at me crazy. You say, man, I'll see if I can make it happen.
Right.
And I've always made sure that when I came on here, I was the epitome of a support to you as well, brother. So I want to wish nothing but blessings and prosperity to you and your family going into this holiday season and the new year. And I love you.
Hey.
Sias, I always say people come into your life for a reason. And I remember when Brother Joe called me, he said, man, I got this sister I think will be a good addition to the podcast. I was like, I'm in. And 5 minutes after I met you, I knew what he was talking about. So again, to you, it is truly a blessing to me to be on this 3-screen with you as well. And I hope that in 2024 we can do some things together down in Lafayette, the three of us. And I know I always end the show by saying I love y'all, and happy holidays to you and your family.
Thank you very much for those kind words. You almost had me cry a little bit. I'm glad I had my lashes on. My lashes would have fell off. It would have fell off.
Sister Sias, do you have some closing words in 2023?
I would be remiss if I would not tell you, Brother Joe, grand. Thank you for always, whether it was in the front or in the back, whether I knew or whether I didn't. You were there. You have been a day one for me. So I didn't expect anything else. I'm just very glad that I was able to set a good example and be a great addition, because definitely you are someone, both of you, I have learned a lot from, even in these few short episodes. So I'm absolutely looking forward to next year. Being around great men will require you to be greater. And that doesn't just apply in the presence of men. It is absolutely transcendent to females as well. So I certainly thank you for pushing me to my limits all the time and reminding me who I am and whose I am.
How you talking?
Amen. So I'm gonna say this, then I'm gonna turn it over, because it wouldn't be right if we don't close out like Brother Edward always closes out. But I do want to say this. First of all, Brother Edward, man, hey, look, I'm trying to hold it together. But you've been a brother like no other. And Sister Shauna, you have been a sister. And guess what? None of us is perfect. But family always seem to know how to love on family, sometimes at the hardest time when family needs to be loved. And so, all I want to say is, brother Brown, we set this thing off years ago, and we're gonna keep doing this until we can't do it no more.
Here we are.
And we do a lot of other stuff together, and a lot of folks don't know about that. This brother done let me come. I had to make a move down to Alcorn, and we're gonna end it with a little HBCU humor. Big ups to those Florida A&M Rattlers for bringing the HBCU national championship back to the SWAC. Back to the SWAC.
Like the Opelousas High School Tigers too, baby.
I saw that.
Opelousas won the state championship.
Yes,
now,
sir.
I don't know what in hell in a ham sandwich going on down in Alcorn right now. But
man, look.
But hey, we'll talk about that on another day. But as I close, listen, I always say, because I went to a PWI, I have a degree from a PWI, and I also have a degree from a HBCU. And I'll say this, I love my PWI, but the blacker the college, the sweeter the knowledge. I'm just going to say it, and I mean it. Big ups to all my HBCUs out there. There's too many of y'all to name. The two I named are the two that I love the most, and which is Southern and Grambling. And it might not be in that order, but I say it the way it is. Go Jags and go Graham fam. And to everybody out there, listen, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Understand tomorrow's not promised. You might need to start really picking up the phone and telling somebody right now, right today, how much you love them, how much they mean to you, because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know what's happening tomorrow. I only know who holds tomorrow. And we all got a day and a time that our number comes up. I just tell you better start appreciating it, because when you start getting up in them years like I am right now, you start realizing something. You got a lot more. You got less in front of you than you got behind you. And,
closer to the tomb than the womb.
That's right. That's right.
So with that all being said, man, Merry Christmas to everyone out there. Turning it over to Brother Brown. Brother Brown, you handle it however you want to handle it, brother.
Hey, man. Merry Christmas to everyone that's watched this podcast. To you and your families, we wish you nothing but the best. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year's. We will see you next year. And if nobody else told you, we love you. Peace. We out.